So big mistake that a lot of consultants make is that they do build before selling something. And that is applicable to a lot of things, not only selling a product itself or service, but also selling, let's say, a lead magnet. When I say selling, it's not necessarily selling in exchange for money, but selling the idea of something, right? The approach should be the exact opposite. You sell before you build, not build before you sell. A lot of people will put a lot of effort into building something before they actually test whether that idea is valuable, whether that idea will convert on the market, whether people actually want this thing, whether this is fixing a problem that is on the market. And so you waste a lot of time and effort and money on building something that you get excited about. You hypothesize this is great, and you build it, and then you put it online or in front of your clients, and crickets, right? So you have to flip it on its head and do the opposite. You have to sell and then build. And I started this approach when I first launched my first group program back in the day, 10 years ago maybe. So I remember sitting in a car cold Ontario in Canada during winter after my 9 to 5, and I was trying to build my marketing agency. And so I had sales calls, and I was trying to pitch my services. But what I have found is that I had quite a few sales calls. I had 20, 30 sales calls a week. And that was on top of my regular 9 to 5 in the corporate. So I would take those sales calls during my lunch break. I would take those sales calls in a commute. I would take those sales calls in a car sitting in a parking lot. And I remember this one instance where I was trying to pitch my $5,000 per month service as a marketing agency, but I saw there's a lot of leads that I'm attracting that are not in a position where they can afford that, right? And so I started, what I came up with is an idea of downselling them with a group program where instead of me doing it, done for you, I click the buttons and I do this thing for you, I will show them how to do it, which is basically done with you, right? And I wanted to do that not in the form of a course, but in the form of a program. And on top of that, it was supposed to be a group program because I wanted to scale and I wanted to make a lot of money, obviously. And so I just pitched and I said, I remember it was like a mid-December and I had plans for December, Christmas is coming, all that stuff. And I remember talking to a lead. He was a lawyer, and I said, "Yeah, sure. Like I'll instead of $5,000, what I can do for you is I can teach you how to do it for $1,500 per month for 3 months. So the total is $4,500, and you keep it forever. You'll learn the thing. You can run the system. You can roll with it, and you no longer need me." So it was $5,000 versus $1,500 per month. Right, for 3 months, so it was cheaper overall, and you get to keep those things you learn. You know how to do it, and so that was a very good offer that was closing. But the problem is that I did not have a single resource or asset for that program. So what I was doing, I was trying to understand. I was trying to see like how that offer will convert, whether it's going to convert. And it started converting. So I had that one call, another call a week later, and so on and so forth. I ended up having 6 people doing that. So that gave me $9,000 per month. And then I scaled from there, right? And then I completely moved away from agency one-on-ones to done with you, group consulting, and the rest is history. And here's where I am right now with this model. But the point is that I sold the idea of something without building it at all. And the beauty of it is that I had a month because I told them I told my leads like we're gonna start mid-January after the New Year's, after all the madness of Christmas and New Year's kind of settles. We'll start mid-January. So I had a month to build what I sold, right? So I obviously had an idea or a skeleton of what I want to build. And I had the means, I had the knowledge, I had the expertise and everything else to build it, right? So if you're thinking like, well, how can I sell something that I don't have? isn't it scamming people? No, it's not, because it's not. Scamming is where you sell something you don't have, right? You're selling an iPhone and then you send a brick in the box. That's scamming. But if you sell something that you have the capacity to build, it's just not built yet. You sell it, you sell the kind of the promise, then it's completely fine as long as you pull this off, right? Now, the worst case scenario, if let's say, and I had a cap. I said, well, if I don't get at least 5 people, I'm not going to run with this, okay? Because it takes effort to build this whole thing. So in case I did not have enough people and I had 6, then the downside, not downside, but like the worst case scenario is that you refund people. And I did that in the other instances. So this first one went really well, and then I tried like million other offers that didn't go well, or like some went really well, like 50K, 80K months or launches, and some like 2 people bought it. I'm like, nah, I'm not gonna do this for 2 people. And so you just refund them, right, at that point. So that is the worst case scenario. There's really nothing for you to lose. So it's the best way to test different hypotheses and ideas in terms of like, hey, I think I could run this program. I think I'm onto something. But it's important for you to sell the idea first and see people actually buy it. I'm not talking about the wait list. I'm not talking about the wish list. I'm not talking about like subscribe to my newsletter and I'm going to let you know. And you're like, oh my gosh, I have 500 people. I'm sure they want it. And then you go run with it and build it. That's not enough. People vote with their credit cards. They don't vote with email addresses. And so I know a lot of people are pushing for like waitlist, and there's nothing wrong with a waitlist in itself. Just don't use the waitlist as a proxy to understand whether there is need for the thing, because the waitlist is something that's so easy, frictionless to just join and like, yeah, sure, I want it. And then you give them a price point and like, no. And I had quite a few situations like that where I was so excited about the big wait list and people waiting and for my thing, and then I said, hey, cool, so you told me in the wait list, like in the survey, that you're looking for this kind of program, you're willing to pay $5,000. Here it is, I built it, here's the link. Oh, I give you 10% discount. And they're like, nah, maybe not now. Right? And I'm like, what the hell? I asked you 2 months ago, and you guys, 500 people told me that it's, you guys want it, and you build it, and they don't want it. So if you sell, then this is a true test of like, yes, they want it, and yes, they're willing to pay for that, right? Same idea goes with lead magnets that you post maybe on socials, right? Do not build a massive lead magnet until you see that you are onto something when it comes to, people want it, they're raising their hand, hey, I want this thing as well. Unless you have unless you have assets already laying around, like videos and tools and resources, whatever, sure, use that and test, and if it's ready, right? But if you're thinking about something new, do not build it before you actually get some traction. So I do that constantly on LinkedIn. I offer lead magnets probably 3 times a week, and most of them flop. And if I did not have this approach of like sell before you build, I would build all of them, and then I would try. It's like I would spend hours and hours building stuff that I think is gonna work, and then nobody wants it. So I flip it on its head and I ask first, and if I see 2 people interested, like okay, whatever, I'm not gonna do it. And then obviously I talk to them. You don't want to just keep on telling people that you're gonna build something and never build it. But you can, if someone raises their hand and say, hey, I want this, and you don't have this thing, you can actually talk to them, especially on LinkedIn, DM them and say, hey, so what's up? Why did you want it, right? And have a conversation. And that very often turns into a sales conversation anyway. But you don't have to build the actual resource, right? So you obviously don't want to, like I said, you don't want to be a douche and just like keep on offering stuff and not delivering. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying validate the idea, validate with the actual action, right? So people raising their hand, they're giving you, when it comes to LinkedIn, giving you an email address to send it, right? And when it comes to the product or service, have them pay for it and see if it's actually working. So in practical terms, if you're curious, like, okay, cool, but how do I build the product later? How do I build the service? Or how do I build a group program, which is something that I help a lot of my clients with. Actually, I have a client right now, and they're building a a 6 weeks program, exactly following the exact same formula. It's a $10,000 program for 6 weeks. So it's pretty pricey for the time frame. So what we do, we build a skeleton of like, okay, week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4, whatever. We sell the idea. This is the skeleton. This is what we're gonna do, right? Week 1, week 2, blah blah blah. People sign up, and then the actual launch of the program is in a month. By the time it launches, we have 2 first weeks ready to roll, as in like recorded, materials are there, assets, blah blah blah. And as soon as we hit week 1 and we get the first call with our audience, those members who joined us, this is where we start to focus on building the other assets. So week 3, week 4, so on. But also what we do, we ask the audience, we ask the members, the students, of like, what would they like to do? What are the questions, right? What is missing right now? You get a chance to talk to your audience and build a program that's perfect for the audience based on the ongoing feedback from the audience, which is massive. And that way you actually build a perfect program. Because a very common mistake that I see people make is that they fall in love with the product or the service in the idea that they have around something. And instead, it's the audience that's supposed to fall in love with that product or service. Like, who cares if I love my product? If I'm not gonna pay myself, right? My audience has to love what I have. So whenever I'm building a program, people come in, I have first 2 weeks ready, the skeleton of the whole thing, and I will get feedback as we go. I will listen to the signals, like what they're actually missing, and I will build an answer to their challenge, their problem directly. And they help me build a perfect program. By following this formula of selling before I build as I go. I sell the promise, I sell the idea. I know I can pull it off. I'm not scamming anyone. I refund them if I cannot pull this off or I change my mind. And I build as I go. So that is the framework I use for everything that I do. And I strongly recommend that you do apply this as well in your business.